Okay, this is episode 2 of my I'm starting a podcast. Like I'm starting a podcast. This is Princess Over Poverty, where I help you pop the podcast. Here we hashtag Princess Poor Philanthropy. And I let you understand that you could be a princess even if you're birthed into a place that had nothing to offer you. Now, my very first mission is just to let you guys understand, like I told you in my last video, your number one claim to the throne is that God is your dad. You have to understand who your father is. You have to understand who it is that you have to be able to give these problems to. Yes, you might run. Yes, you might stray. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to say, God, Father God, allow me to come back home. Allow me to place my feet on solid ground. Allow me to be steadfast in the things that you want. Allow me to see clearly. For me, lately, I just been having to ask God to God, increase my capacity, increase my knowledge, increase my intake, and change the things in which I used to want to know, right? And change the things that my body has been already geared up to adapt to, change the things that my mind, my GPS is already gearing me to go towards. So in my I'm starting a podcast in this Princess Over Poverty podcast. I want you guys to know more so, like, you don't need none of these things, right? I'm 30 years old. I have bought lights, I have bought phones, I have bought devices over and over again, but none of those things gave me validation in the fact that I'm a princess of a place. Nobody can grant you that but God. Nobody can tell you that you're a princess of a place but that Bible. Nobody can give you your stands, but your conversations with your dad when you're able to see that God shows up for the fatherless, the motherless, the kids, right? So I just want to say, like, with all those things, like, I'm going to be going at this and jumping at it at the back end just because right now we're just trying to show up. We're just trying to show up. We're trying to show up in God. We're trying to show up in because of the fact that we have told God that when we get this new stuff, when we get these new devices, when He bless us with this new phone, when He bless us with this environment in which even these devices or this equipment in which we can successfully launch a podcast, then we need to launch the podcast because through this podcast, I will be able to say a lot of things that I'm sometimes not able to say throughout my YouTube videos, or some things that I'm not able to just express. I read or listened to a poem one time by Francisco, and in it he basically talked about like how he's not able to express his feelings out loud, but poetry will allow him to die with his heart on his sleeve. And that's one of the things that I just took into heart with me too. Like, I'm gonna put his poem. We're gonna run it on here some kind of way somewhere. But yeah, he just says that like he's not able to live with his heart on his sleeve, but poetry will allow him to die with his heart on his sleeve. And like I said, it's just something I took away, and it's something that I want you to understand too. You don't have to express your feelings the same way everybody else do. That's why on this channel, on this podcast, we will hashtag Princess Port Philanthropy, because we could express our feelings and we could express who we is in all aspects of those things, as a princess, as a poet, as a philanthropy, as a person who, yes, I'm a kid, I'm a girl, but I'm also a girl who wants to change this world. I'm also a girl who wants to be governed by God, and a girl who is able to lead the people back to Christ by, even if it's just about my actions, by my ways, by me showing up as who I am, as a black girl, as a girl who can strictly say that nobody in this world can pull the feeling of me being a princess out of me, because I've been embedded in who I am by God for so long. That's why God ain't just say, whoosh, you're the princess of your city. God has embedded it into me for 15 years. So now I say I am still the princess of my city, princess of a place that had nothing to offer me but me having everything to offer it. And sometimes you got to ask yourself, like, why have I been birthed into a place that it seems as if it has nothing? Because maybe you are the key. Maybe you are the key that's holding. Maybe you're the key that's going to change where you stay at. Maybe you're the one person who's standing in the way of people around you, of kids around you, people who are looking up to you as role models who you may not even know, but of those people saying, yo, because they made it out, I can make it out. Because they made a difference, I can make a difference. Because they saw change, because they saw change and accomplished change and went after change 1,000-fold. Now I'm able to go out to change and reap change and go out to change a thousandfold because yeah, somebody has shown it to me. Somebody I had to see a black girl be embedded in God, even though she was from the hood. I had to see a black girl say, you know what? Yes, this is who I am. Yes, this is where I'm from. But just because of where I'm from, it does not state that this is who I have to be. This is not who I have to be embedded in because I can change. Now I can change. Yes, back then there was a thing, but now we have access to knowledge. And with access to knowledge, grant me the ability to change. With the access to knowledge, grant you your ability to change. That's why I say I don't know how these podcasts going to come out, but I'm going to try to give them to you as fluently, as efficiently, as 100% accuracy as I know how, just to let you understand that you, my friend, can be a princess too. You could be a princess too in your drawing. You could be a princess in your cooking and anything that is that you have to do. There's a place for you in the kingdom. Anything that you want to do, if you want to be security, if you want to tow guns, there's a place for you in the kingdom. If you want to read your books, if you want to kick your feet up, if you want to be a housemaid, if you want to do whatever there is for you to do, there is a place for you in the kingdom. And God is telling me, like, just for me to tell y'all, like, just like I want to be a princess in this place, there are girls in this world, women in this world who want to be a princess in this kingdom and feel like they have no right. But God say, through me, I could teach you I could show you that you have all right to want to be a princess of a place that you've never seen, to be a princess of a kingdom that you've never held, to be a princess of a place that you know that God said everywhere your feet touch. God said everywhere your feet touch could be yours, will be yours. But you have to believe. You have to believe. And not only do you have to believe, God said you gotta go get it. You gotta go get it. You gotta put in the work. You gotta put in the faith. You gotta put in the work. You gotta put in the faith. You have to be able to. You have to be able to take all of the good things and all of the bad things. Like everybody want the princess. Everybody want this princess title, but nobody want to be locked in a tower. Yo, listen to me. Listen to me. So even with all the good things that you ask for, there's a place for it in the kingdom. But are you willing to go through what it takes to hold your title throughout poverty, to hold your title throughout middle classmen, to hold your title when you have nothing, when you feel like you at the peak of luxury? Can you still hold your title? Can you still say, I'm a princess in a place, even if I had nothing? Because one day God will grant me princess. One day I will tread feet in a kingdom that God has prepared for me. You think the place that God has prepared for you is a shack? You already living in that. Why God got to give you something that you already got? Girl, please. Princess, please. Princess, please. Why you feel like God will have to give you something that you already got? The place that God prepared for you is more bigger than you could ever believe. The things that God has prepared for you, the things that God has prepared for me is bigger than I have ever dreamed. But it required me to do the work. It required me to say, Nykee, you gotta put away the things that's keeping you stuck. You got to put away overthinking. You got to put away you feeling like you ain't adequate. You got to put away your your feelings of wanting to be so perfect, so fit, so poised when you still learning. It's all gonna come. Your ability to be poised, your ability to stand in rooms in which you never knew you could stand in will come. And nobody gotta teach you that but God. God is gonna show you in every walk of life. When God wanna teach you something, He gonna show you a lesson. He gonna take you through a lesson. You ain't gotta the lesson of life. Somebody said, I'm watching a show and they said, baby, you was in the school of life and it's one of the hardest, toughest schools that you may ever have to go through. And it made me understand, like, yes, like, keep with all the things that's crashing down. Everybody is out to get them. Everybody is out trying to win. So you got to be a person who can take all of this. Just because you want a title, don't let the title deceive you from who it is that you actually gotta be. There's a place for you as a cook, as the boss, as a person who walk around and just do your fingers like this and tell people what to do. There's a place for you in the kingdom. There's a place for you who to shoot guns, to draw, to swim, to dream. But you gotta go and get it. To be a princess of a place means that you can hold it down in all aspects of life. Even if you right now in a season where you feel like you've got nothing, where you feel like you've got nothing. And throughout this podcast, I want y'all to know, I want y'all to say, this girl is not perfect, but this girl is something that I need. And if I'm not someone you need, maybe I'm someone that someone you know need. So just pass the message. Let them understand that there's princesses and God is calling us home. Somebody is at the kingdom shining our tiaras. Somebody is at the kingdom shining our tiaras, waiting for princesses to walk through the door, shining our crowns, shining their crowns, awaiting princesses to walk through the door. Princess, duke, duchess, kings, queens, however it may be, your time, you all you gotta do is do the work. And this podcast is proof of me. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but I know I gotta show up. I gotta show up now and I gotta show up today. And I can't wait till tomorrow because tomorrow is always only a day away. And with that, you guys, I'm Nykee Symone. This is Princess Over Poverty, the podcast. Here at hashtag Princess Port Philanthropy, and I help you pop the podcast. Yeah, don't forget to like this on all streaming platforms. Don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend. Don't forget to just, take whatever you can out the message. Don't just be deterred about who I am, how I look, how I sound, how I'm delivering the message. Just take heed of any little tidbit that you could take. The number one tidbit I'll tell you is that you could be a princess too. And your number one claim to this throne is the fact that God is your father. I'm Nykee Symone, and I see you guys in my next video. Princess, please.